The truck still had Kyle Busch's name on the back window. On lap 47 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, all four tires of that number 7 Chevrolet left the ground. The truck went fully airborne, slammed the inside wall, and bounced back into traffic in a race that was already carrying more emotional weight than any race weekend should have to bear. Nobody was seriously hurt. But watching that truck go airborne on this particular weekend, carrying that particular name, it stopped the entire garage cold. 20-year-old Corey Day was behind the wheel of the number reel. 7 Spire Motorsports truck at Charlotte Motor Speedway Sunday in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. The same truck Kyle Busch drove to victory at Dover just 8 days earlier. In what turned out to be the final win of his career, Busch's name was still printed on the back window when Day climbed in. On lap 47, contact from Gio Ruggiero sent Day spinning toward the infield. The truck went airborne, all 4 tires off the ground before settling back down and slamming the inside saper barrier. A second truck then tagged the number 7, ending Day's night entirely. Day walked out of the wreck on his own and was cleared at the infield care center. The truck race itself, originally scheduled for Friday, postponed 3 times due to weather, was ultimately won by Lane Riggs, with the event ending early due to time constraints. Day had started from pole position, a spot inherited because Busch's Dover victory earned it for the number 7 entry. The symmetry of that detail made the crash land even harder. Kyle Busch is the most decorated Truck Series driver in the history of NASCAR. 69 wins in that series, more than anyone ever. He treated the Truck Series not as a stepping stone or a side project, but as a genuine competitive arena worthy of his full effort, right up to the end. His final win at Dover last weekend was exactly that, a reminder that even at 41, he was still capable of going to a track, taking the lead, and closing it out. Then he came back to Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600, became unresponsive while training, and died Thursday. He never got back in a race car. Corey Day is a different kind of story. He is 20 years old in the early stages of a career that is clearly on an upward trajectory. 2 wins this season in the O'Reilly Series, consistent results in trucks last year, being called into the number 20 series. 7th seat this weekend was not a routine fill-in assignment. It was one of the most emotionally loaded rides in recent NASCAR memory, and Day knew exactly what it meant when he accepted it. Starting from pole position in a seat still bearing Busch's name, with the entire NASCAR world watching and grieving, is a pressure situation that would challenge a veteran with years of experience. He's 20 with 13 prior Truck Series starts to his name. The truck race itself had already been a logistical nightmare before a single green flag flew. 3 postponements across 3 days, the entire Charlotte weekend shrouded in rain and grief simultaneously. By the time the Truck Series finally ran, the emotional reservoir in that garage had been full to the brim for 4 straight days. Let's start with the crash itself, because the physical reality of what happened on lap 47 deserves to be stated clearly. A NASCAR truck going fully airborne at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Approaching the inside wall where there is no catch fencing is a genuinely dangerous situation. The outcome was the best possible one. The truck came back down, absorbed the wall hit, and Day walked away. But for a few seconds in that sequence, the outcome was not guaranteed. Day's account of the incident is straightforward and takes no blame off himself. He thought he was clear, he wasn't. He acknowledged it immediately, credited his spotter, and then did something that matters. He went straight to the people. The crash hurt most. Not his own result, not the championship implications, the number 7 crew. The people who had already been living through the hardest week of their professional lives and now had to watch their truck get destroyed. I just hate it for the number 7 guys is not a standard post-crash quote. Costas, a 20-year-old driver understanding in real time that this was not about him. That is emotional maturity that most drivers develop over years of experience. Day arrived there in seconds. The pole position detail cuts deepest from an analytical standpoint. Busch earned that starting spot with his Dover win. Day inherited it. He took the green flag at Charlotte in the best position on the grid, a position Busch earned for that truck 1 week before dying, and the race ended in a wreck on lap 47. That is the sports cruelty playing out in miniature. The best starting position on the grid, the most emotionally significant truck in the field, and it crashed before half distance. For the number 17 specifically, this weekend was always going to be hard. What the crash added was physical confirmation of something they already knew emotionally, that nothing about this Charlotte weekend was going to go smoothly. The truck race got rained out 3 times. Their Cup entry won the 600 in extraordinary circumstances, and their flagship tribute entry ended up in the wall. There's also a broader question worth examining here about what it means to put a young, relatively inexperienced driver into this specific truck on this specific weekend under this specific amount of national attention. Day handled the pressure of the moment with remarkable grace. But the number, 7 team asking a 20-year-old to carry the weight of a tribute ride at one of the most emotionally charged NASCAR events in recent memory, is itself worth noting. The sport sometimes asks a great deal of its youngest competitors without fully accounting for what that costs them. The immediate reaction to the crash was fear, and then, when Day climbed out, relief that transformed almost instantly into sorrow, because the truck that just hit the wall was not just any truck. It was the last truck Kyle Busch ever drove in competition, still carrying his name, with a young driver inside who had agreed to honor the man whose seat he was borrowing. Day's post-crash comments have circulated widely and been received with a level of respect that typically takes drivers years to earn. His instinct to redirect the focus from himself to the crew, people who've been working in grief for 4 straight days, was noticed. It was the right thing to say, and the fact that it came naturally from a 20-year-old says something real about who he is. The broader NASCAR community response is the one of heavy-hearted recognition that this weekend was always going to extract something from everyone involved. The rain, the postponements, the tributes, the ceremony, the 600 result, and now this crash have accumulated into a Charlotte weekend that the sport will be processing for months. Nobody is angry at Corey Day. Nobody is blaming Gio Ruggiero for making an already painful weekend worse. The reaction has been mostly silent, the kind of silence that follows something that confirms what everyone already felt. This week hit everything it touched. Corey Day's conduct this weekend, the way he accepted the assignment, started from pole, raced hard, and handled the aftermath of the crash with total class, becomes a defining early chapter in what turns out to be a significant NASCAR career. The NOMA 7 crew watches a young driver show them who he is under the worst possible circumstances, and a lasting professional relationship grows out of it. Day becomes part of the extended network of people connected to Busch's legacy, not through wins, but through the way he showed up when it mattered. In the truck, once repaired, carries that story forward. The crash adds one more wound to a number 17 that is already depleted emotionally and operationally. The weight of the tribute ride, combined with the result, leaves a scar on a group of people who were already running on empty. Day carries the guilt of the wreck longer than he should, letting it affect his confidence at a critical stage of his development. And the image of Busch's truck going airborne on this particular weekend becomes one of the harder images associated with the Charlotte tribute. The one detail from an already difficult weekend that people wished had gone differently. Kyle Busch's name was still on the back window. The truck that carried his final win, driven by a 20-year-old who agreed to carry that responsibility for one race weekend, went airborne at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the most emotionally loaded Sunday the sport has seen in years. Nobody was seriously hurt. The truck will be fixed. Day will race again. But the image of that, no, 7 in the air on this weekend at this track, that is the kind of thing that stays in the memory of a sport and the people who love it. Here is what I want to hear from you. Was putting a 20-year-old driver into that truck on that weekend the right call by the number and 7 team, or was it asking too much of a young career in an impossible situation? That debate is worth having. Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe if you want to stay with this story all the way through. Charlotte gave us a week that NASCAR will not forget, and we covered every piece of it.